Arms will please secure the doors. Members, please take your seats. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. President.
All right, Senators, we are very, very pleased to have one of our own who has been assisting with the great senator from the 40th District. It is chaplain intern Erica Jackson Stokes. She's at the Chaplains Department at Bayview at Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore, Maryland, in the Fightin' 46th District, but here as a guest of the senator from the 40th District. Members, please rise for the invocation.
Let us prepare our hearts and minds for prayer. Most gracious and eternal God, most merciful and benevolent, endless is your compassion. Great is your faithfulness. We acknowledge your presence here in this space and at this moment. Thank you for another opportunity to convene and do the work you have called us to do. We are grateful for the privilege to serve your people, to represent a piece of Maryland, to represent communities, families, and people trying to live this life. We strive to love them as we love ourselves. Collectively, we strive to do all that we can to ensure the welfare of this state. We bring together what is needed for effective operations. God of sovereign power, continue to make and mold us into leaders of your will. Remind us that we are accountable to you. God of justice, continue to reveal to us sections that may result in disparities and harm. Give us the insight and understanding to consider the vulnerable, marginalized, and the least of these. God of promise, God of peace, continue to impart wisdom on how to best support each other and support our own care. Let us be reminded of your spirit within us and that we walk boldly with you. As we continue through this session, help us to listen. Let us hear the concerns of colleagues and let us voice the responses that can be heard. We remember the calls, the notes, the testimonies that give significance to shared values and our common goal towards well-being. We seek forgiveness for the times we have made mistakes, for the ways in which we have caused disruption knowingly and unknowingly. Forgive us when our stubbornness stalls progress. Forgive us when we are afraid to do what we know is right. Help us in our humanity. Help us to act justly and love kindness. You instruct us, you counsel us. You are our greatest advocate. We lift up this state and pray to you on its behalf. Bless our constituents, even though we cannot meet them all. Have them to meet the good results of our efforts. Have them to see and experience the favorable outcomes. Bless this body in all its parts, for where one part suffers, the body suffers, and where one part thrives, the body thrives. Blessed are you, Lord, who has kept us alive, sustained us, and enabled us to reach this day. We remain grateful and in awe of your magnificent ways. Praise be to you, our loving Creator. In your name we pray. Amen.
Chair recognizes the senator from the 40th District.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, given the work that we do, especially on behalf of our constituents, we often need a prayer warrior on our team. And I've been grateful this session to have Erica join us as a member of our team in our Senate office. She brings professional experience in executive administration, program management, and nonprofit development. Her varied background allows her to consider the contextual lives of constituents and make efforts to match resources to needs. She received a Master's of Divinity from Howard University and a Bachelor's of Sociology from the University of Maryland, College Park. She is passionate about the intersection of faith, policy, and social justice, as well as the role of public servants play in the creation of social change. I want to thank Erica for sharing with us this morning, and Mr. President, I'll ask that we'll journalize her prayer.
Without objection, Senator, we most certainly will journalize the wonderful invocation this morning. Senator?
Also, I think in the gallery, and this is probably my first time introducing somebody to all session, I believe my Chief of Staff has joined us to celebrate in this moment. Danielle Ziegler, if you would stand, and colleagues, please welcome them both to the chambers.
Welcome, Danielle. We know Danielle quite well. She's an all-star, and so glad that she could be here with us. All right, let's see. Has everyone recorded their presence? It appears so. Clerk will take the call. With 47 members in the chamber and a quorum being present, the Senate of Maryland is now in session. Let's start with introductions. Yes, Chair recognizes the senator from the 27th District.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, if you would join me in welcoming a young man from District 27. He's a student at Bowie State University. He has interests in the environment, in economic development and policy making. A young man who is a part of our District 27. He's a coordinator for us on District 27, but he also does work for the state party. Demetrius, if you would stand up. Demetrius Briscoe, please welcome him here today.
Mr. Briscoe, welcome.
He'll be following me today.
Thank you, Senator, for that introduction. Any further introductions? No? All right, slow day today on a Monday. A couple of notes from the weekend. We had a really nice ceremony at the Basilica on Saturday. It was quite a ceremony. It was long, but it was good. And we had the French ambassador, or not the ambassador, but the second consul or consul general, and then the United Kingdom representative from United Kingdom. It was quite a ceremony. So that gavel is being sailed as we speak from Baltimore, from the port to downtown Annapolis Pride of Baltimore. It's on the Pride of Baltimore. Yes, there. Thank you. And so we will be having a ceremony on Friday, which is Maryland Day, where the gavel will be officially presented to the Senate of Maryland. As I said there, before there was a House of Delegates, before there was a governor, before there was a U.S. Congress, there was a Senate of Maryland. And so that is why this gavel is headed our way. So we are the rock of this democracy. And so we are being celebrated as such on the 250th anniversary of the opening of this building. So also some big athletic wins. Looks like the Lady Terps have had a successful weekend and will be dancing still. We had a big Maryland UVA lacrosse win. Big stuff happening in Maryland these days. All right, any other notes before we jump into things today? We had a busy week last week. We're going to have a busy day today. Just timing-wise, we're starting at 11 now. We'll probably do 3 sessions today, 11, 3-ish, and then we'll see between the evening sessions, 6 or 7, more likely 7 than 6, but we'll do 3 sessions to get crossover through, but it was nice to not be here this weekend, and off we go. All right, anything else? If not, so we consider the reading of the journal from the prior legislative day. Senators, you do have a copy of the capital budget report. We won't take that up until the second session, so it's on your desk. You can feel free to peruse it, but we'll take it up during the second session today. Let's start with a message from the House. These are House bills. Clerk will read the bills.
House Bill 88, Delegate Charkoudian, Electric Distribution System Planning and Required Labor Standards, Finance.
All right, Majority Leader moves so be considered the reading of the bills. These bills will be referred to their appropriate standing committees. Next, we have a layover calendar. We've got layover calendar number 41. Clerk will read the bill.
Senate Bill 917, Senator Augustine, Health Care Facilities, Health Services Cost Review Commission, User Fee Assessment. Question is on the adoption of the committee amendment and the favorable report.
All right, Senators, question is on the one committee amendment. Any discussion? If not, all in favor of the amendment say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The one committee amendment is adopted. Question now is on the amended report. Any discussion? If not, all in favor of the report say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The favorable committee report as amended is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 917 is hereby ordered printed for third reading. All right, we've got a report from Finance. Let's go ahead with report number 16. Clerk will read the first bill.
Senate Bill 453, Senator McCray, Economic Development, Maryland Makerspace Initiative Program, favorable.
All right,
Mr.
Chair recognizes Chair of the
President,
committee.
Senate Bill 453 establishes the Maryland Makerspace Initiative Program in the Maryland Technology Development Corporation, TEDCO, to encourage the establishment and expansion of makerspaces throughout the state. TEDCO may partner with the Open Works Center for Advanced Fabrication Technologies in Baltimore City. The Maryland Market Space Initiative Fund is established in TEDCO for the administration of the program. The governor must include an appropriation of at least $1 million in fiscal 2024 through 2028 for the MMIF. The bill terminates September 30th, 2028. There are no amendments, no opposition at the committee hearing. I move the adoption of the favorable committee report.
Floor leader moves for the adoption of the favorable committee report. Any discussion? If not, all in favor of the report say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The favorable committee report is adopted. Are there any amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 453 is hereby ordered printed for third reading. And actually, as I see the senator from the 2nd District, some big news today about Washington County. Looks like the Hitachi plant is being located up there for the construction of the new trains for Metro. It's a pretty big deal. Pretty big deal. Lots of jobs coming ahead in Washington County. All right, clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 554, Senator Patterson, Maryland New Start Act of 2022, favorable with 2 amendments.
Chair recognizes the vice chair of the committee as the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. As amended, Senate Bill 554 establishes the New Start Grant Program within the Department of Labor and the New Start Micro Loan Program within the Department of Commerce. The purpose of the grant program is to provide grants to at least 5 organizations to create or support existing entrepreneurship development programs to provide assistance to covered individuals. A covered individual is defined as an individual convicted of a crime and who has completed a term of imprisonment or is released for the purposes of participating in a training program and who meets specified offense eligibility requirements. The micro loan program is intended to provide loans to covered individuals participating in eligible entrepreneurship programs funded under the New Start Grant Program. Loans issued under this program, Mr. President, funded under the New Start, loans issued may not exceed $50,000. The bill specifies annual reporting requirements of organizations that are awarded the grants. The Department of Commerce and Labor must adopt regulations to carry out the bill's requirements. Amendment number 1 makes changes to the purpose paragraph. Amendment number 2 alters the definition of covered individual to include an individual released for the purposes of participating in a training program as described, reorganizes the programs established under the bill, situating the grant program within the Department of Labor rather than the Department of Commerce, and making other conforming changes. Mr. President, there was no opposition to the committee hearing. I would move the amendments and the adoption of the favorable committee report.
Floor leader moves for the adoption of the 2 committee amendments and the favorable committee report. On the amendments, any discussion? If not, all in favor of the amendment say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The 2 committee amendments are adopted. Question now is on the favorable committee report as amended. Any discussion? If not, all in favor of the report say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The favorable committee report as amended is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 554 is hereby ordered printed for third reader. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 782, Senator Hester, Work Group on the Post-COVID-19 Crisis, Economic Transition, favorable with 1 amendment.
Chair recognizes the chair of the committee as the floor leader.
Thank you. Senate Bill 782 establishes the work group on the post-COVID-19 crisis economic transition, staffed by the Department of Legislative Services to make recommendations regarding how the state may adjust its economic development and other strategies in the context of changes resulting from crises in sectors as specified. The work group may retain the services of the University of Maryland, and $500,000 must be appropriated for that purpose. The work group is required to submit an interim report to the governor and the General Assembly by December 31, 2022, and a final report by December 31, 2023. Amendment 1 adds 5 members to the task force. I move the amendment and the adoption of the favorable committee report.
Floor leader moves for the adoption of the 1 committee amendment and the favorable committee report. On the amendment, any discussion? If not, all in favor of the amendment say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The 1 committee amendment is adopted. Question now is on the favorable committee report as amended. Any discussion? If not, all in favor of the report say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The favorable committee report as amended is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 782 is hereby ordered printed for third reader. Let's go to Education, Health, and Environmental Affairs. This is calendar 36. 36. That is a lot of work. 36. Clerk will read the first bill.
Senate Bill 234, Senator Jackson, Public Schools, Purple Star Schools Program Establishment, favorable with one amendment.
Chair recognizes the senator from the 33rd District as the floor leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. The title of the bill is Purple Star School Program, and in the military parlance, we have a lot of different stars. We have gold stars, blue stars, and this is a new high school program for Purple Stars. This is a voluntary program where a school that has a significant number of military families can designate a coordinator. The coordinator supports and coordinates special services and to address the needs of these military families who many times move 5 or 6 times in a very short period of time. The kids need special attention. This bill is designed to encourage and recognize, it does not mandate. There were one committee amendment. It revises the definition of military-connected student to make the provision of the bill applicable to dependents of current members of the military, not necessarily retired. Second part of the amendment modifies the purpose of the program, providing services and support to military-connected students who transfer schools because of the parents' military service. And the final part of the amendment streamlines the criteria for the program by striking certain mandatory initiatives. It's a voluntary program. Move the amendment and the favorable committee report.
Floor leader moves for the adoption of the one committee amendment and the favorable committee report. On the amendment, any discussion? If not, all in favor of the amendment say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The one committee amendment is adopted. Question now on the favorable report is amended. Any discussion? If not, all in favor of the report say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The amended report is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 234 is hereby ordered printed for third reader. Clerk, read the next bill.
Senate Bill 696, Senator Bido, Maryland Loan Assistance Repayment for Nurses and Nursing Workers, Program Establishment and Funding.
Chair recognizes-
Favorable with one amendment.
Chair recognizes the senator from the 12th District as the floor leader.
Thank you. Senate Bill 696 establishes the Maryland Loan Assistance Repayment Program, or MLARP, for nurses and nursing workers and an associated special fund for the program. The Department of Health must convene a stakeholder work group to examine how to further incentivize nursing and nursing worker students to practice in specified areas. The work group must submit an interim report by December 1st of this year, as well as a final report by December 1st of next year, including recommendations on a permanent funding structure for the special fund. Special funds from the Board of Nursing Fund must be used for the program beginning in fiscal 2023, unless other funding is provided. The bill takes effect July 1st, 2022. There is one committee amendment, and that removes the requirement that a nurse or nursing worker practice in primary care and removes the term, quote, medical from medical specialty eligibility under the bill. The amendment clarifies the process for transferring $400,000 from the comptroller to the Department of Health to fund the program in some instances. Move the adoption of the one committee amendment and the favorable committee report.
Floor leader moves for the adoption of the one committee amendment and the favorable committee report. On the amendment, any discussion? If not, all in favor of the amendment say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The one committee amendment is adopted. Question now on the amended report. Any discussion? If not, all in favor of the report say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The amended report is adopted. Any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 696 is hereby ordered printed for third reader. Clerk, read the next bill.
Senate Bill 852, Senator Carter, Education, County Boards of Education, Health Educator Position, favorable with two amendments.
Health educator position. Chair recognizes the chair of the committee.
Can we put it to the end of the calendar?
Chair moves to special order the bill to the end of the calendar. Any objections? Without objections, so ordered. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 925, Senator Patterson, Prince George's County, Special Elections conducted by mail voting centers, favorable.
Chair recognizes the sponsor of the bill as the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, this bill modifies requirements regarding the number, location, and days and hours of operation of in-person voting centers during a special election conducted by mail in Prince George's County. The bill takes effect June 1, 2022. No amendments, no opposition. I move the adoption of Senate Bill
925.
925. Thank you much.
All right, floor leader moves to the adoption of the favorable committee report. Any discussion on the report? If not, all in favor of the report say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The favorable committee report is adopted. Are there any amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 925 is hereby ordered printed for third reading. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 951, Senator Heddleman, Education, Student Athletes, Uniform Modifications for Modesty, Inclusive Athletic Attire Act, favorable with 2 amendments.
Chair recognizes the Vice Chair of the committee as the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's unfortunate that this legislation is needed. It's just the right thing to do, but this bill would put into law that our public schools, our community colleges, our higher education institutions would allow athletes to wear a modest modification to their sports uniform. So if they want to wear a hijab, a yarmulke, or long sleeve shirt or leggings, as long as they're still keeping everyone safe and in compliance with the colors of the team and all that. There are 2 amendments to this bill. The first is technical and adds co-sponsors because all of us endorsed this unanimously. The second one just clarifies that in addition to the aspects of the bill, that if it's a personal preference for additional modesty, that was also going to be allowed. I'd like to move the favorable report and the 2 amendments.
Floor leader moves for the adoption of the 2 committee amendments and the favorable committee report. On the amendments, any discussion? If not, all in favor of the amendment say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The 2 committee amendments are adopted. Question now on the amended report. Any discussion? If not, all in favor of the report say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The favorable committee report as amended is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 951 is hereby ordered printed for third reader. Do we want to, we've got the special order. Are we ready for the, if we go back to the bill that was special order to the end of the calendar? Clerk will read that bill.
Senate Bill 852, Senator Carter, Education, County Boards of Education, Health Educator Position, favorable with 2 amendments.
Chair recognizes the senator from Prince George's as the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. As amended, this bill altered the training requirement for specified certificate school personnel to add training on teen dating violence to the skill required to recognize students experiencing trauma or violence out of school. There are 2 amendments. Amendment number 1 is technical. Amendment number 2 amends and strikes all the provisions regarding the hiring of health educators by county boards of education. There's no financial impact. I move the 2 amendments and a favorable committee report.
Floor leader moves for the adoption of the 2 committee amendments and the favorable committee report. On the amendments, any discussion? If not, all in favor of the amendment say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The 2 committee amendments are adopted. Question now is on the amended report. Any discussion? If not, all in favor of the report say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The amended report is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 852 is hereby ordered printed for third reader. All right, let's go to judicial proceedings, report number 25. Clerk will read the first bill.
Senate Bill 704, Senator Heddleman, Condition of Pretrial Release, Home Detention Monitoring, Alterations and Extension, favorable with 3 amendments.
Chair recognizes the sponsor of the bill as the floor leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. This bill, as amended, extends something we did last year, and it extends it till 2025. This is a program that we passed last year that allows a pretrial defendant to not have to pay for the private home detention monitoring agency's monitoring fee, subject to the availability of federal funds to cover the payments. The bill also alters the termination date and reporting requirement of the work group on home detention monitoring to more closely examine a long-term solution to this issue. There are 3 amendments. The first is technical. The second clarifies that the payment of fees is subject to the availability of federal funds. And the third extends the termination date of the payment provision and the work group. I move for the adoption of the amendments and the favorable committee report.
Floor leader moves for the adoption of the 3 committee amendments and the favorable committee report. Chair recognizes the minority leader on the amendments.
Yeah, if the floor leader would yield.
Of course.
Senator may proceed.
So it's been a while since I've been on JPR. So can you give me a quick overview of the home detention monitoring? And then as far as the pay goes, is everybody get it paid for? Are there determinations who get paid for by the federal funds?
So the people who, I'll ask your second question first, and thank you for the questions. The people who qualify for this program are the same people who qualify for a public defender. So there's an income cap. And those are the folks, we passed a bill last year. We directed $5 million of federal money to this program. And right now, the court is administering the program. So someone who qualifies is determined by the court that they qualify at the income level. And then if they are determined to need home monitoring, they have to contact a private home monitoring agency, and I believe there are 3 of them. And it's been working pretty seamlessly since October when it actually went into effect. And so those home monitoring agencies are in the lineup to be paid by federal money to complete that monitoring and make sure they're doing everything they need to be doing. There was, in the legislation we passed last year, there was supposed to be a work group. It was never named for whatever reason, to look at the statewide issues and the long-term issues, but this is a short-term fix to an important issue.
And as far as the home detention monitoring, can you just explain to people who aren't on JP like myself what that is?
Sure. There are a couple of private companies, and this is what they do. They provide ankle monitors, for example, and then they do the hookup and the link, and they provide that to the person on pretrial monitoring, and then they do the monitoring to make sure that the person is adhering to the requirements of the court, and if they're not, then they contact the court to let them know.
Okay. All right. I would like to look at this just a little more if I could lay this over under the rules.
Senator's motion is in order. The bill and the amendments will be laid over under the rule. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 879, Senator Wallstreicher. Corporations and associations, ratification of defective corporate acts, favorable with 2 amendments.
Chair recognizes the bill sponsors, the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. As amended, this bill establishes a process by which a corporation may ratify a defective corporate act. There are 2 amendments. Amendment number 1 is technical. Amendment number 2 clarifies definitions and provisions of the bill. Mr. President, I move the favorable committee report and the 2 amendments.
Floor leader moves for the adoption of the 2 committee amendments and the favorable committee report. On the amendments, any discussion? If not, all in favor of the amendment say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The 2 committee amendments are adopted. Question now on the amended report. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The favorable committee report as amended is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 879 is hereby ordered printed for 3rd reader. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 881, Senator Wallstreicher. Criminal law, false statements, emergency or commission of crime, Anti-Swatting Act of 2022, favorable with 2 amendments.
Chair recognizes the bill sponsors, the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. As amended, this bill establishes the task force to study the practice known as swatting. The task force is required to study the applicable laws and otherwise policies related to the practice known as swatting and make recommendations for legislative changes. Amendment number 1 is technical. Amendment number 2 strikes the bill and establishes the task force. Mr. President, I move the favorable committee report and the 2 amendments.
Floor leader moves for the adoption of the 2 committee amendments and the favorable committee report. Chair recognizes the minority leader on the amendments.
Yeah, if the floor leader here.
Appears so. Senator may proceed.
Been a while since on JPR. What is swatting?
Sure. So swatting is the act of calling the police in a way that is intended to get the SWAT team out to an innocent person's home. It is common in video game subcultures and also used as an act of hate. So Jews and people of color are often victims of swatting. So someone calls the police and says, there was a murder at this location, and gives the house of an innocent person, that the SWAT team and other kind of heavy police divisions show up at that house believing that a murder or a kidnapping or something serious has taken place, and the person inside the home has no knowledge that that phone call was made. People who have innocent victims have been killed in this circumstance because, as you might imagine, it's very volatile and dangerous.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you very much.
All right. On the amendments, any further discussion? If not, all in favor of the amendment say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The 2 committee amendments are adopted. Question now is on the favorable report as amended. Any discussion? If not, all in favor of the report say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The favorable committee report as amended is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 881 is hereby ordered printed for 3rd reader. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 884, Senator Watson, driver's licenses, suspension for child support arrearages, exception, favorable with 1 amendment.
Chair recognizes the bill sponsors, the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. As amended, this bill exempts an obligor whose income is at or below 300% of the federal poverty level from provisions requiring the MVA to suspend the obligor's license or privilege to drive in the state if the obligor is out of compliance with child support order and specified conditions are met. This exception does not apply if the obligor has been judicially determined to be voluntarily impoverished. There's one committee amendment. The amendment specifies that the bill does not apply to an obligor that has been judicially determined to be voluntarily impoverished. I move adoption of the amendment and favorable report.
Floor leader moves for the adoption of the one committee amendment and the favorable committee report. On the amendment, chair recognizes the minority whip.
Could I ask the floor leader to yield for a question?
Absolutely.
Appears so. Senator may proceed.
Just one main question here. I felt like that we've done work in this area before, and I think the concept, although all of us want people to pay their child support, we also understand that people have to get to work to be able to provide for themselves and for their children. Did this change the percentage from like 200 to 300%? What's the change? Or had we not done this? I remember having done this in the past.
Well, the percentage that this bill lays out is 300% of the federal poverty level, and that amount comes out to be $40,777 as of February 2022.
But we had not. Did we have a percentage in law before, or no?
No.
I see. Okay. I was curious about that. And I just want to go back over the ground that you mentioned. So the judge could still rule that, Johnny is working for cash. We have evidence he's working and being paid cash places, so he's involuntarily impoverishing himself. Is that what we talk about when we say a judge would rule voluntarily impoverishing oneself?
So voluntarily impoverishing means you have education or other means by which you can have higher level of income, and you voluntarily choose not to. That specific instance is exempted from this bill.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. President.
All right. Yes, chair recognizes the minority leader on the...
Apologize for getting up so much.
On the amendment?
You just said something. Did you say it was $40,000 was what they could make and qualify for this?
That's correct.
I mean, that just seems awful high to say you're not going to give somebody child support. I mean, people are living in parents' houses and things like that, and they're making $3,000 to $4,000 a month, and we're saying if you make that much, you don't have to. Oh, it's just you don't get your driver's license taken away.
It's just that you don't get your driver's license. There are other ways to do wage garnishments and those types of things.
That's a key point. Thank you.
All right.
All right. On the one amendment, any further discussion? If not, all in favor of the amendment say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The one committee amendment is adopted. Question now on the amended report. Any discussion? If not, all in favor of the report say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The amended report is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 884 is hereby ordered printed for third reader. Clerk, read the next bill.
Senate Bill 956, Senator Watson, criminal law, threats to public officials, favorable with 2 amendments.
Chair recognizes the bill sponsor as the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. As amended, this bill adds the chief health officer for a county to the definition of local official as it pertains to the list of public officials against whom it's illegal to make specified types of threats. The bill takes effect June 1st, 2022. There are 2 committee amendments. First is technical. The second strikes provisions of the bill and alters the definition of local official as specified. I move the amendments and favorable committee report.
Floor leader moves for the adoption of the 2 committee amendments and the favorable committee report. On the amendments, any discussion? Yes, chair recognizes the senator from Prince George's on the amendments.
Thank you, Mr. President. Could the sponsor of the bill yield?
Yes, ma'am.
Senator may proceed.
On yesterday afternoon, I had the wonderful pleasure of sitting down with a group of educators. It was absolutely wonderful. It's always a pleasure to be talking to those who are in the trenches. My question, one of the things that they were most concerned about was violence and assaults against educators in the schools, the principals and the teachers and custodians. The question that I would like to ask is, would the educators and school personnel come under this bill? Would they?
No, they would not.
They do not?
They do not.
How unfortunate. Mr. President, what must I do to amend educators to this bill? Do I ask for you to hold the bill so that we could put an amendment in that would include educators and school personnel?
Well, before we do that, Madam, the thing is, when you look at what happens in school, these types of assaults against teachers are primarily juveniles, and I think they're handled under other codes. This is different.
Well, I certainly don't want to slow this bill down, but I would like for you to know that that is a critical concern for educators.
We understand.
You walk into a school and you slap the teacher in the classroom or assault even the children, custodians. It's a real problem, I'm telling you that. So I don't want to slow the bill down, Mr. President, but I tell you that as a matter of fact, one of the people sitting at the table yesterday began to cry. It was just so moving. So,
And just one thing, remember, this bill deals with threats, not actual assaults. Threats.
okay. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator. All right, on the amendments, any further discussion? If not, all in favor of the amendment say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The two committee amendments are adopted. Question now on the amended report. Any discussion? If not, all in favor of the report say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The amended report is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 956 is hereby ordered printed for third reader. Let's go to Special Order Calendar number 61. Clerk will read the bill.
Senate Bill 548, Senator Lamb, Local Health Officers, Removal, Grounds, and Process. Questions on the adoption of the committee amendments and the favorable report.
All right, Chair recognizes the Chair of the committee on the committee amendments. Oh, or the bill, let's see, bill sponsor on the, we had some questions about the amendments. Madam Chair, why don't we yield to the bill sponsor on the committee amendments?
Sure. Yeah, we're working on some additional amendments with a colleague from from District 34. So if I could special order it to the end of this 3 minutes, later this morning, that would be helpful. We're just trying to work out some.
Do we want to take it to the second session, or
Can we do it at the end of this session?
Well, let's see where we are by the end of this session,
Okay.
and then we'll see where we are.
All right.
All right. Are there any objections to the senator's motion? Without objection, the bill and the amendments will be special ordered to the end of the calendar today. All right. We've got another special order, number 60. Clerk will read the bill.
Senate Bill 44, Senator West, Crimes, Unattended Dogs, Extreme Weather Conditions, and Heat. Questions on the adoption of the favorable report.
All right, questions on the favorable report. Chair recognizes the bill sponsor.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. I have an amendment I'd like to introduce.
All right, let's take up the favorable report. On the report, any discussion on the report? If not, all in favor of the report say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The favorable committee report is adopted. Senator has an amendment. We will collect the senator's amendment. Give us just a moment to load it up.
Mr. President.
Yes, Chair recognizes Senator from.
While we're passing out that amendment, I just have to say that our former delegate, Jimmy Malone, is up in the gallery.
Hey there, former delegate.
We welcome him.
Hello there, sir. Perfect timing. All right, Senator may explain the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. President. The members of the body may recall that this is the dog bill. And 2 weeks ago, we took a pause on this bill. I figured this senator from Montgomery County would react to that. And this amendment's been prepared to try to deal with all of the issues that were raised 2 weeks ago. So let me go through the amendment in some detail and explain what's happened. 2 weeks ago, people were concerned that a weather warning or advisory in the summertime could be issued when the temperature was under 90 degrees. We have now limited the weather warning and advisory to a winter or cold weather warning or advisory, eliminating the summer entirely. In fact, with respect to the summer, the bill now only provides a requirement that a dog left outside for over a half hour unattended would have suitable shade. Now, 2 weeks ago, one of my colleagues asked questions of what is shade, and the answer was shade is shade. Then the second question is, what is suitable? Suitable is a word much like reasonable or material that is frequently appended to a noun in the Maryland Code, and the courts have never had a problem interpreting those adjectives in the context in which they're used. As the floor leader, if the courts come back to examine legislative history, they will take a look at this colloquy or speech. And in my view, suitable when connected to shade means sufficient shade that the entire dog can lie in the shade out of the direct sunlight. Now, the amendment goes on. 2 weeks ago, there was a concern that the bill required that the suitable shelter, which is used in the winter time when the temperature is below freezing, that shelter would be required to have a floor that's insulated. That language has been removed. Now the amendment only requires a floor that allows the dog to remain reasonably dry. Also, the old bill had a requirement of 4 walls, one of which contains a doorway. The amendment has been changed to only require that the shelter be enclosed with an entrance on one side. And finally, the bill talks about insulation. As originally drafted, the amendment deletes the requirement of insulation entirely. It merely provides that the shelter must allow a dog to maintain its normal body temperature. Also, the definition of suitable shelter has been amended so that it no longer excludes a crawl space under a building or part of the building. Now that would be sufficient. So with all those changes made to the bill, I move the adoption of the amendment as well as the favorable committee report.
All right, Senator moves the amendment. Chair recognizes the senator from District 2 on the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. President. Will the floor leader rise for a question?
Appears so. Senator
Certainly.
may proceed.
Yeah. I appreciate you working on this, and I appreciate the work that's going on with the committee. Just a quick question. Where is the AKC currently on the bill as amended?
The Kennel Club has always been opposed to the bill because this is the American Kennel Club.
Correct.
This is one of the national animal organizations. It's always been opposed to the bill because it feels that the bill should specify each species of dog and then and to develop different rules and regulations for each individual dog species, and then further would want to further particularize the bill with respect to the age of the dog and the health of the dog. In our view, that would require a very lengthy bill, which would go into excruciating detail, and we just don't think it's appropriate. We think this bill is sufficient.
Okay, but they do still oppose it. That's all my question.
They do oppose
Thank
the
you.
bill. That's right.
All right. Any further discussion of the amendment? Any further discussion? If not, all in favor of the amendment say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it, barely. The amendment is adopted. Question now, do we have any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 44 is hereby ordered printed for third reader. All right. Let's do a quorum call before third reading calendar. Actually, before we do that, let's do this. Let's read this message from the House. Clerk will read the bills.
House Bill 34, Delegate Crosby, Criminal Law, Indecent Exposure Within the Sight of a Minor, JPR.
All right. Majority Leader moves so be considered the reading of the bills. They will be referred to their appropriate standing committees. If we could do a quorum call before third reading calendar.
Mr. President.
Has everyone recorded their presence? Madam Secretary, if we could ring the bells, please. All right, the clerk will take the call. With 46 members in the chamber and a quorum being present, the Senate of Maryland remains in session. Let's go ahead to third reading calendar number 5050. Clerk will read the first bill.
Senate Bill 6, Senator Wallstreicher, Landlord and Tenant Residential Leases, Tenant Rights and Protections, Tenant Protection Act of 2022.
Senate Bill 6 is on third reader for final passage. Chair recognizes the senator from the 33rd District on the bill.
Thank you very much. I'd like to ask a couple questions of the floor leader.
The floor leader yield appears so. Senator may proceed.
Thank you very much. I think I was off the floor when this came up before, and Very important issue, as most of us recognize. For the past 2 years, there's been a lot of folks who haven't paid their rent, and in a common term, the tsunami is coming. We know that. In the testimony in the committee, could you give the body a sense of where the problems arise that this bill will fix?
Sure. This is an omnibus bill that touches on various areas. And so the problems that this bill intends to fix relate to ratio billing for utilities, the ability of tenants to use common areas to meet, and the ability of domestic violence victims to find safety and get out of their leases. Those are the three primary areas that this bill addresses.
Very important issues, very supportive of that. Is there anything in the bill that would delay the processing of an eviction process?
No, there are other bills that our committee has reported out related to the acceptance of, for example, federal funding, the delay of evictions. This bill does not include that language and would not delay any evictions.
Is there any benefit in this bill for landlords, property owners who are going for months and years without rental payments? Any forgiveness for property taxes, insurance, or mortgage payments?
So to be clear, the property owners support this legislation. It is consensus legislation, but there is nothing specific in the bill that would benefit the landlords.
Thank you very much, Senator. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator. All right, on the bill, any further discussion? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote? Explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 46 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 6, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 150, Senator Augustine, Maryland Medical Assistance Program, dental coverage for adults.
Senate Bill 150 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote? Explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 47 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 150, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 221, the President, Department of the Environment Enforcement Authority.
Senate Bill 221 is on third reader for final passage. Chair recognizes the President Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, my apologies. I know this bill is on third reader, but I'd like to ask for a special order for the purposes of getting some more information.
Are there any objections to the Senator's special order? Without objection, the bill will be special ordered to the... Oh, yes, Chair recognizes the Chair of the Committee on the special order.
Thank you, Mr. President. Before I give an answer to that, let me remind the people, this was put in by Attorney General Frosch to make sure our drinking water is safe and we can enforce it, and to make the law in the environmental article on water the same as it is for ambient air, for radiation, for other sanitation situations. He has said he doesn't want to come up with another Flint here in Maryland. That's why this bill is in. It conforms the language of water with every other section in the bill. And as you may recall, last week there was a conversation about liens and lawnmowers. And I have to tell you, that conversation objectively was a distraction. That same language exists in multiple places in the law. And to date, no one has tried to change that language. But all of a sudden it comes up this week. There's not been one case that I know of that there's been a problem with personal property liens and lawnmowers. So it's a little ironic that this came up this week. But Mr. President, all that being said, if the President Pro Tem would like more information, I really urge her to call the Attorney General of the state of Maryland to find out the information she needs. I will acquiesce to that special order to when, Madam?
The next session.
That's fine.
The afternoon session. All right, without objection, the bill will be special ordered to the second session of today. All right, clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 384, Senator Hedelman, Landlord and Tenant Stay of Eviction Proceeding for Rental Assistance Determination. This is an emergency bill.
Senate Bill 384 is on third reading for final passage. Senators, this is an emergency bill. Chair recognizes the Senator from the 33rd on the bill.
Mr. President, if I could ask a couple questions of the floor leader.
Will the floor leader yield? Appears so. Senator may proceed.
Thank you, Senator. I thought we might have the Vice Chairman jump up. Can you share with us the purpose of this bill, why it was brought to the Senate, and what it hopes to achieve?
Absolutely. So as we all may have heard from our constituents, there are many people who are waiting for rental assistance to be processed by our counties. We have been the beneficiary here in Maryland of about over $700 million worth of federal rental assistance. Each of our jurisdictions is handling that delivery of that rental assistance differently, and it's taken our counties quite a bit of time to get those processes up and running. They are doing so, but as you may be aware, our rentals eviction proceedings in the courts are all done by paper and not electronically, and it's been very, very difficult for our counties to ascertain who exactly is next in line to be evicted. For example, if a landlord files a failure to pay rent notice, or a tenant holding over notice, or breach of lease notice, the local jurisdictions are having to really jury-rig their systems in order to be able to prioritize those folks to the top of the list for rental assistance. There are many thousands of people I know in my own county who are waiting for rental assistance. So this bill is meant to really put a pause on that, enables judges to be able to say, have you made a good faith attempt to file for rental assistance? If so, we're going to put up to a 30-day pause on that, up to a 30-day pause on that, and allow the local jurisdiction to process that rental assistance payment and make the landlord whole and stave off the eviction. So this was something that was agreed to by the landlord organizations and the tenant organizations, and received the unanimous support of the committee.
Thank you very much, Senator. So there's a long delay between when the landlord files and the court makes a decision. Do you have any statistics on how long that takes?
It varies. In your county, for example, there's not a long delay. And so that process has been happening rather quickly, and people have been evicted. They're pretty much back to normal in the courts. In other jurisdictions, it's longer. It really varies from county to county. I don't have those statistics at the top of my mind. In my county, I believe it's around 6 months or so. In Prince George's County, it's longer. In some other jurisdictions, they're operating on real time, no delays.
Very good. Of the $700 million, did you have any discussion in the committee of how much of that was already granted and used, and how much was left?
Roughly 400 something has already been used. Good. And just around 400 that's still to go.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much. Senator, the issue I mentioned earlier is there any assistance to the landlord during this period of non-rent payment to give him some relief from property taxes? Any of the jurisdictions allowed that to be held in abeyance until the court case is settled?
Not that I'm aware of. I don't know.
Right, and I find that a problem, that we're helping the tenant. I'm glad we're giving them some money, but that goes to the landlord. But in the meantime, I think we're having some folks lose their houses. What about for insurance purposes? Every year, insurance for the building has to be paid. Is there anything in the bill that allows for forgiveness or abeyance of insurance premiums?
This bill is focused on rental assistance.
Okay, nothing about utility bills for the building.
Again, it's focused on rental assistance.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, Senator. I have a few comments to the President. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So, Mr. President, a few comments about this bill. Some of the opponents have shared with me that Montgomery County, it could take as much as 8 months for the filing through the judicial process to the eviction. I just have to think 8 months is an awfully long time to apply for emergency aid, get some of that $400 million, and pay the landlord and remove that obligation of eviction off their shoulders. In Baltimore City, they say that it takes a year. I'm not quite sure what an extra 30 days will do for us. If they can't apply and get a decision within a year, Something must be amiss. Prince George's County takes a year. Baltimore County, 6 months. There's already a built-in delay with the number and the processing of it. Now, the interesting thing is I thank the Senator for spotlighting Anne Arundel County. We try hard now over here to do the best to fund all the issues that the county can fund. We do. I was on, as I shared, on the county council for 7 years, and when they came with a request we could assist with, we did it. But for the body, in January of 22, this is the time at which, current, there were 4 evictions in the county. 4 evictions. I'm not quite sure why this is such a crushing problem, but I can tell you, Mr. President, it's coming because in the same months they filed 589 cases for eviction. We know this tsunami is coming. I just don't know if this bill is the appropriate one to add even more delay on a process that is very, very delayed in itself. Request a negative vote on this bill. I think the system's working slowly, giving people plenty of time. I don't see the need for this. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator. All right, on the bill, Chair recognizes the Vice Chair of the Committee.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a quick clarification on what was just said. This can delay an eviction by 30 days, but you don't have 8 months to file for your federal money. You only get 30 days after the eviction has been filed. In other words, for a good faith effort to be made here, you have to apply for the benefits 30 days after you're given notice that the landlord intends to evict. And so you cannot wait 8 months to file for the benefits. You can't wait 2 months, you can't wait 3 months. The longest that you can wait under this bill is 30 days from the filing. And so I think that's an important point to be made. Ask for a green vote. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator. On the bill, Chair recognizes the Minority Whip.
Mr. President, could I ask the Vice Chair to yield for a question on the bill?
Vice Chair yield, so I may proceed.
Because I'm looking at the amendments in the bill and the vote in the committee. There was a lot of opposition on the front end. Have the amendments assuaged the concerns of like some of the realtors and some of the other groups that came in opposed?
So I believe they have, but I'm actually going to defer to the floor leader who was negotiating this.
Okay. You did such a great job. I was wondering to Madam, thank you. I mean, did the amendments deal with a lot of those objections?
They did. So MMHA is the organization that we dealt most closely with regard to representing the interests of the landlords, and everybody came to a consensus on this bill.
Then a follow-up I would have is, as I look at this, we're saying that, so somebody says, my tenant has not been paying their rent, and I'm filing for eviction. The tenant has up to 30 days to file for rental help or assistance from, is it the county agency? Is that how the process would work?
It is the county agency, but I'll also say that tenant may have filed 5 months ago. And since they still haven't received anything, this will help the local jurisdiction to prioritize them getting the money and getting the money to the landlord.
Yeah, thank you. I was curious about that because it's like, I don't want to incentivize someone who knows they're already in trouble waiting until they're being evicted. So this is acknowledging that a lot of times the process is taking longer.
Absolutely. And this is putting guardrails so that someone...
it can only go 30 more days, basically.
Correct.
Okay.
And I also, if I might, a couple of things to respond to the concern that was raised earlier. So I do know somebody, for example, in Baltimore City, there's something was filed in October and the trial was last week. So it's a much shorter period of time in terms of the court being backed up. So these cases are moving ahead, and even the point of filing is very detrimental to someone's credit rating, et cetera. So and there are still over 700 evictions that have been happening over these past number of months.
Thank you for your answers.
This is also we have the resources, and landlords have been telling us they just want to be paid. This is meant really to give a little grace on one side, to let the processes work, and to make them whole.
Thank you. Mr. President, I think there's a lot of concern about this overall issue on the landlord side, and I've heard it from a number of people because of what my colleague from Anne Arundel County has mentioned, I think we have to be careful not to, we've been through 2 years of this, and so I appreciate what the committee did in trying to look at all the issues, but I do think it's appropriate to raise the concern that we have to be careful not to go too far in the other direction either. And so I think it sounds like the committee did its best to try to strike a balance, but I can definitely see both sides of this issue. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator. All right, any further discussion on the bill? Chair recognizes the Senator from District 6.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. I just want to just let people know how much of a difference it has changed by percentage in the state of Maryland, by the judiciary, by the judges. In Baltimore City, it's gone down 69%. Prince George's has gone to 84%. Baltimore County has gone down 76%. So the numbers have gone way down extremely. I know there's been times when there's been very serious cases where it's been taking at least six months to a year, and it's been a very serious problem, Mr. President. But we see that these cases have gone way down, just to let us know. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator. All right, any further discussion? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 33 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 384, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 418, Senator Feldman, Energy Generation Projects, Required Community Benefit Agreement and Labor Standards.
All right, Senate Bill 418 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 33 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 418, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 420, Senator Rosapep, Employment of Minors, Opportunities for Work.
All right, Senate Bill 420 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call.
thank you.
With 47 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 420, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 452, Senator Smith, Small Claims Examination in Aid of Enforcement Prohibition.
Senate Bill 452 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 33 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 452, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. All right, let's go to calendar number 51. 51. Oh, we're not done yet? Oh. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 557, Senator Signor, Baltimore County, West Baltimore County Redevelopment Authority.
Oh. All right, Senate Bill 557 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 557, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk, read the next bill.
Senate Bill 563, Senator Heddleman, Real Property Actions to Repossess, Judgment for Tenants and Proof of Rental Licensure.
Senate Bill 563 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 47 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 563, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk, read the next bill.
Senate Bill 564, Senator Lee, Landlord and Tenant Eviction Prevention Services.
Senate Bill 564 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 33 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 564, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 599, Senator Gazzoni, Vehicle Laws, Driver's Licenses, Driver Skills Examinations.
Still no parallel parking, but Senate Bill 599 is on third reading for final passage. Any discussion? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 47 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 599, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 655, Senator Klossmeyer, Unemployment Insurance, Federal Extended Benefits for Long-Term Unemployment.
Senate Bill 655 is on third reading for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 32 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 655, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 673, Senator Bailey, Natural Resources Police Force, Employees Authority of Secretary.
Senate Bill 673 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 47 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 673, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 677, Senator Kelly, Maryland Health Care Commission, Nursing Homes Reporting.
Senate Bill 677, having received, is on third reading for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 47 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 677, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 698, Senator Zucker, Alcoholic Beverages, Maryland Alcohol Manufacturing and Promotion.
Senate Bill 698 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 47 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 698, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. All right, now we are ready for Calendar 51. Clerk will read the first bill.
Senate Bill 700, Senator Klossmeyer, Maryland Department of Health, Prevent Workplace Violence in Healthcare Settings, Public Awareness Campaign Work Group.
Senate Bill 700 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 47 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 700, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 708, Senator Lamb, Maryland Department of Health, Office of the Inspector General.
Senate Bill 708 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 32 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 708, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 744, Senator Heddleman, Housing and Community Development, Affordable Housing, Excess Real Property.
Senate Bill 744 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 47 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 744, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 851, Senator Carter, Labor and Employment, Username and Password Privacy, Law Enforcement Agencies.
Senate Bill 851 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 32 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 851, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 859, Senator Watson, Public Health, Sickle Cell Disease Registry Establishment.
Senate Bill 859 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 47 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 859, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 869, Senator Washington, Baltimore City, Small Box Discount Stores, Zoning Requirements, and Community Agreements.
Senate Bill 869 is on third reading for final passage. Chair recognizes sponsor of the bill.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to move to reconsider the vote by which this bill was placed to, what the committee report was adopted.
So we're going to take it back on
Yes.
third reader for the purposes
For
of,
the
or
purposes
two
of an
second reader
amendment.
for the purposes of
Yes.
amendment?
Yes.
All right, Senator has moved to reconsider the vote by which the bill moved to third reader. Are there any objections to the senator's motion? Without objection, so ordered.
Thank you.
Senate Bill
here we go.
869 is
Here
now
we are.
before the body on,
Thank you.
subject to amendment. Senator has an amendment. The Madam Clerk is collecting the amendment. Give us just a moment, Senator. All right. Senator may explain the amendment.
Thank you so much. Amendment number 1 strikes the word requiring and substitutes the word authorizing. It also strikes the word planning department and replaces it with mayor and city council. Amendment number 2 strikes the word shall throughout the text and replaces it with may. And then also at the end replaces Baltimore City Planning Department with the mayor and city council. I move for the adoption of these amendments.
All right, Senator moves the amendments. On the amendments, is there any discussion? Are there any objections to the Senator's amendments? Without objection, the amendment is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 869 is hereby ordered printed for third reader. Clerk, read the next bill.
Senate Bill 907, Senator Simon Ayer, Elections, Polling Place Location Restrictions, repeal. This is an emergency bill.
Senate Bill 907 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 46 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 907, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 908, Harford County Senators, Harford County Board of Education, appointment of members, alterations.
Senate Bill 908 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 47 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 908, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk, read the next bill.
Senate Bill 911, Senator Quarterman, Maryland Stadium Authority, Hagerstown Multi-Use Sports and Events Facilities, alterations.
Senate Bill 911 is on third reading for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 47 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 911, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 916, Senator Jackson, work group to study the fiscal and operational viability of public-private partnerships for Charles County Public Schools.
Senate Bill 916 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 47 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 916, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk, read the next bill.
Senate Bill 926, Senator Patterson, Labor and Employment, Apprenticeship and Representation on the Apprenticeship and Training Council.
Senate Bill 926 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 32 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 926, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 952, Senator Huff, Frederick County Board of Education, vacancies.
Senate Bill 952 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 47 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 952, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 965, Senator Jackson, Charles County Alcoholic Beverages, Multiple Class B Licenses.
Senate Bill 965 is on third reading for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 47 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 965, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 985, Senator Hershey, Labor and Employment, Unemployment Insurance, Duties of Secretary, and Penalties.
Senate Bill 985 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 47 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 985, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. All right, we have a third reading calendar number 52. Clerk will read the bill.
Senate Joint Resolution 11, Senator Huff, solidarity with the government and people of Ukraine.
All right, Senate Joint Resolution 11 is on third reader for final passage. Chair recognizes the senator from Montgomery County.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. This is a very important resolution, and as we spoke about last week, we're all unified, and we wanted to make sure it was moving, but we also wanted to make sure that every senator had an opportunity to be on the bill. Just I wanted to walk through the process quickly. I have an amendment. It's going to add 10 senators who didn't get a chance to co-sponsor this resolution onto the resolution, and the way to do that is I'm going to bring it back to second reader. That way we can move to adopt the amendment. So I just wanted to, if that's okay with the floor leader.
All right, Chair recognizes the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. As the floor leader for the Rules Committee, I have no objection.
All right, Senator has
The
no
committee
objection.
has no objection, Mr. President.
No objection. So, all right, senators moved to reconsider the vote by which the bill passed second reading. Are there any objections? Without objection, so ordered. Senate Joint Resolution 11 is now before the body on second reader and open to amendment. Senator has distributed an amendment.
Yes, the amendment adds co-sponsors, Mr. President.
Let's just make sure we get it up there. All right, Senator has explained his co-sponsor amendment.
Yep, and then, Mr. President, my understanding is just given the pace of the day that we'll have plenty of time to make sure it gets on third reader later if people are listening.
We should have plenty of time today. So if there are any objections to Senator's motion? Without objection, the amendment is adopted, and Senate Joint Resolution 11 will be hereby ordered printed for third reader to come up later this afternoon. All right. Let's go to third reading calendar number 53. Clerk will read the first bill.
Senate Bill 524, Senator Feldman, Public Utilities, Energy Efficiency and Conservation Programs, Energy Performance Targets, and Low-Income Housing.
All right, Senate Bill 524 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 47 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 524, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 526, Senator Feldman, Renewable Energy Portfolio Standard and Renewable Credits Offshore Wind.
Senate Bill 526 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 46 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 526, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 582, Senator Bailey, Natural Resources, Recreation on Private Land Hunting.
Senate Bill 582 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 46 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 582, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 612, Senator Bidle, Street Racing, Exhibition Driving, and Noise Abatement, Prohibited Acts, Enforcement, and Penalties.
Senate Bill 612 is on third reader for final passage. Chair recognizes the senator from the 38th District.
Thank you, Mr. President. I wanted just to rise before we cast our vote on this, since it was referenced that this has been an effective tool in Ocean City and Worcester County. And we had to work through it the first time with this bill because we only had the speeding part of it, and that did not resolve the issues when the H2OI, an unsanctioned car show, would come to Ocean City and literally take over. What was absolutely key and why we had to go back on this was to get the some control over the reckless driving, the exhibition driving that is so important in this bill. And I can tell you, now that we have that in place, we have been able to get some control over this show. It was a situation that was so dangerous that we actually had visitors coming down, and the families were staying in their hotel rooms because they didn't want to go out on the sidewalks on Baltimore Avenue or Coastal Highway because of this reckless driving. So I just wanted to give a little background and why it is a really important community public safety tool.
Thank you, Senator. Chair recognizes the Senator from Anne Arundel.
Thank you, Mr. President. As it would have it, we had a speed exhibition in my district Saturday night. It started on Dorsey Road, moved to West Nursery Road where all the businesses are. Then it moved to Bingo World and blocked the entrances so the police couldn't get in. And then it moved to Cromwell, a shopping center that on a Saturday night was empty. It took 8 county police officers and 2 state troopers. And so they couldn't even get to the cars to write tickets or arrest anyone. So this is a really important bill. It's coming into your community too. So if I can have your full support for this, I'd appreciate it.
All right, thank you, Senator. Chair recognizes the Senator from Montgomery County.
Thank you, Mr. President. Would the chair of the committee yield?
The chair yield on the bill. Chair so, Senator may proceed.
Quick question, Mr. Chairman. I support the bill. I had a question on second reader about Section 4, which is language I've never seen before, and I wonder if you could just explain what Section 4 is and why it's in this bill.
Are you talking about the talks that it corrects cross-references throughout the code? Just based on the way that the bill came in and the definitions that we're changing, it's language that will correct, it'll auto-correct cross-references in the code, so it's kind of a cleanup and a technical thing that we put in there.
Anticipating errors maybe down the road.
Correct.
So interesting. Thank you very much for the explanation.
Of course.
Support
yes.
the bill.
Thanks.
All right, on the bill, any further discussion? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 46 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 612, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 632, Senator Hester, Maryland Health Benefit Exchange, Small Business and Nonprofit Health Insurance Subsidy Program Work Group.
All right, Senate Bill 632 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 46 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 632, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 643, Senator Lee, Commercial Law, Maryland Personal Information Protection Act revisions.
All right, give us just a moment. We don't have it up on the board yet. 643. Senate Bill 643 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 47 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 643, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 661, Senator Benson, Pharmacists, Status as Healthcare Providers and Study on Reimbursement.
Senate Bill 661 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 47 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 661, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 682, Senator Washington, Maryland Medical Assistance Program, Gender Affirming Treatment, Trans Health Equity Act of 2022.
Senate Bill 682 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. Oh, the chair, oh, sorry. At the end of the calendar. Chair recognizes the senator from Baltimore County. Oh, sorry. With 31 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 682, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed.
Yes,
Senator
I'd
Baltimore
like
County.
to be recorded in the green on Senate Bill 612, please.
612 in the green. Any objections? Without objection, so ordered. Chair recognizes the senator from District 7.
Thank you, Mr. President. Red on Senate Bill 926.
926 in the red. Any objections? Without objection, so ordered. Any other fixes here? All right. If not, let's go to Madam Secretary. Do we have the copies for this one? Do we have the printouts? We were waiting on the... '54. We're ready? Okay. All right. Let's take up calendar 54. Clerk will read the first bill.
Senate Bill 691, Senator Carter, Juvenile Justice Reform.
All right, Senate Bill 691 is on third reading for final passage. Any discussion? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 31 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 691, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk, read the next bill.
Senate Bill 707, Senator Klossmeyer, Health Insurance, Provider Panels, Coverage for Non-Participation.
Senate Bill 707 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 47 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 707, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 719, Senator Benson, Human Services, Office of Home Energy Programs, Power to the People, Pilot Program Personnel, and Uniform Redetermination Process.
Senate Bill 719 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 47 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 719, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 734, Senator Lamb, Maryland Health Care Commission, Primary Care Report and Work Group.
Senate Bill 734 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 46 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 734, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 804, Senator Bidle, Continuing Care at Home Certificate of Need Exemption.
Senate Bill 804 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 47 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 804, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 823, Senator Kramer, Pharmacy Services, Administrative Organizations, and Pharmacy Benefit Managers Contracts.
Senate Bill 823 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 823, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 824, Senator Kramer, Health, Accessibility of Electronic Advanced Care Planning Documents.
Senate Bill 824 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 47 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 824, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 874, Senator Wallstreicher, State Highway Administration, Pedestrian and Bicycle Fatalities Infrastructure Review, Vision Zero Implementation Act of 2022.
Senate Bill 874 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 47 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 874, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. We've got another message from the House. Clerk will read the message.
House Bill 174, Delegate Lehman, Landlord and Tenant, Repossession for Failure to Pay Rent, Registration, and License Information.
Majority Leader moves so be considered the reading of the bills. They will be referred to their appropriate standing committees. All right. We have a report from the Committee on Budget and Taxation.
Mr. President.
Yes, Chair Recognized Senator from District 11.
Thank you very much. Could I be recorded in the green for Senate Bill 734, please?
734 in the green. Any objections? Without objection, so ordered. Any other alterations here? If not, let's go to report number 20.
Senate Bill 706, Senator Zucker, non-public educational programs, children with disabilities, cost of teacher salaries, favorable with 2 amendments.
All right, Chair recognizes the sponsor of the bill as the floor leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Senate Bill 706 is very similar to legislation that we actually had in front of us last year. This is dealing with non-public special education schools. So this is involving students who are publicly funded. They can't be educated in your public schools, so they're sent to these special non-public schools that specialize in educating kids with learning differences. So what this legislation does is it's consistent with what the budget did last year. It's just making sure that we're taking teacher salaries into consideration. The budget committee has already fenced off $4 million for the teacher salaries for this, and the governor had actually put in money last year on it, and this just extends it out to 2024 and then evaluates the program. There are 2 committee amendments. First is technical, and the second makes some of the changes that I said. It just sunsets the salary increase and then requires a report. I would move the amendments and adoption of the favorable committee report.
Floor leader moves for the adoption of the 2 committee amendments and the favorable committee report. On the amendments, any discussion? If not, all in favor of the amendment say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The 2 committee amendments are adopted. Question now on the amended report. Any discussion? If not, all in favor of the report say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The amended report is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 706 is hereby ordered printed for 3rd reader. All right, we've got the special ordered bill 548. Clerk will read the bill.
Senate Bill 548, Senator Lamb, local health officers removal, grounds and process. Question is on the adoption of the committee amendments and the favorable report.
All right, question is on the committee amendments. Do we want to take those up now? Are we ready for those? All right, on the amendments, any discussion? If not, all in favor of the amendment say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The committee amendments are adopted. Question now on the amended report. Any discussion? On the report, Senator? Or have it amended? Okay. On the favorable report as amended, any discussion? If not, all in favor of the report say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The favorable committee report as amended is adopted. Senator, bill sponsor has an amendment. If we could collect and distribute the amendment.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. President. This is Amendment 913424/1. This was...
Senator, give us just one moment
Sure.
here to get it up so that senators have it in front of them. All right, Senator may explain the amendment.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to work with my colleague from Harford County. It brought up a concern that he had with the bill, and this is a clarifying amendment to make clear that the review of the process by which a health officer can ask for a meeting and written documentation needs to be followed and complied by, and if it's not, that this can be reviewed by the circuit court. As stated in the bill, it had originally stated the Office of Administrative Hearings. In working through this with my colleague, it was pointed out that any appeal by a decision of the OAH would be appealed to the circuit court anyway, and therefore this is a streamlined process to allow for that review to be done by the circuit court. This is just a procedural review. This is not to overrule the decision by the secretary on any merits or rationale. This is really just a review to make sure that procedures have been complied with in paragraph 3. Move the adoption of the amendment.
Floor leader moves the adoption of the amendment. On the amendment, Chair recognizes the senator from the 34th District.
Yeah, thanks, President. Thanks for the bill sponsor. My concerns before were that we would have the ALJ or the circuit court reviewing the policy decision by the Secretary of Health. All they're going to be reviewing, as was stated, is whether in fact they complied with the requirement that the Secretary of Health give a hearing and review it. So we're not shifting the legislative or the executive's power for policy over to the judiciary. So I'm fine with the amendment. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you, Senator. All right. Any other discussion on the amendment? Are there any objections to the amendment? Without objection, the amendment is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 548 is hereby ordered printed for 3rd reader. Senators, the desk is clear. It's clear. We are totally caught up. So for crossover, that's pretty darn good. Chair recognizes the chair of the committee.
Yes, Mr. President. Do we have second reader report 37? Is that before us?
Not yet. It hasn't. We don't have the copies yet. We're working as quickly as possible to get it up here, but we'll have it for the second session. We should still have time. All right, let's do committee announcements. Committee announcements. Chair recognizes. 3 o'clock is what we're thinking that we'll come back. Chair recognizes the chair of the Finance Committee.
Finance Committee will meet for check-in at 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock, okay. Chair recognizes the chair of Education, Health, Environmental Affairs.
Education, Health, Environmental Affairs will check in at 2:30 in the committee room.
2:30, all right. Chair, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chair recognizes the chair of Budget and Tax.
Thank you, Mr. President. 2 o'clock for us.
2 o'clock for B&T, thank you. Chair recognizes chair of Judicial Proceedings.
Yes, 2 o'clock for check-in.
2 o'clock it is, across the board. All right, any other standing committees? Select committees? Delegations? Chair recognizes, nope. Okay, delegations, any delegations? Caucuses, all right. If not, chair recognizes the chair of the Capital Subcommittee.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I believe during our 3 o'clock session, we'll be reviewing the capital budget. The Senate President notified us earlier that you should have reprints on the desk. If there's any questions, please feel free to reach out to the committee or myself, and that includes if you have any amendments. I just wanted to make note that there are some projects that we wanted to make sure we funded immediately with cash. So although in your booklet it might look like there's a reduction, it's not. It's just that it's a priority, so we wanted to make sure it was funded immediately. But if anyone has any questions, please feel free to follow up with me, and I'd be happy to answer any questions. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator. Chair recognizes the co-chair of the Protocol Committee. Nope, Senator from Howard.
Mr. President, would it now be an appropriate time to change a vote?
It would be.
I'd like to be recorded in the red for Senate Bill 691.
691, without objection. Any objections? Without objection, so ordered. Any other administrative votes? Announcements? Announcements? Chair recognizes the Senator from District 7.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, I mentioned last week, Special Olympics. Polar bear plunge is this Friday. We've got 3 of us already plunging. Hope we get some more. I don't want to voluntold anybody into it. Wait a minute, am I seeing somebody? Oh my gosh, Mr. President, Chairman of JPR is stepping up to the plate.
More and more.
More and more. Again, water's balmy, I think 41.5 degrees. Hope it might go up a degree or so. But colleagues, it's a great opportunity for us to go out there. Hope more can join. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Senator. Looking forward to it, sort of. I mean, the event, but not the cold. All right, any other announcements? If not, let's do a quorum. Oh, yes, Chair recognizes Senator from Baltimore County.
Can I change my vote to red for 691, please?
691, are there any objections? Without objection, so ordered. All right, any last second? All right, let's do a quorum call before we adjourn.
Mr. President.
Has everyone recorded their presence? If so, the clerk will take the call. With 46 members in the chamber and a quorum being present, Senate of Maryland remains in session. Chair recognizes the Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate of Maryland stand adjourned until 3 o'clock this afternoon.
3 o'clock. Without objection, so ordered. Have a wonderful lunch. See you at 3.